Shalom, family, and welcome back to another edition of Real Talk with Yehuda. Today, what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to try to make it as brief as I can, but it just dawned on me, like, through observation, what I've noticed with Western women, Americanized women, and for the most part, not all, but I would say like 90% are supposed to be Hebrew women living according to Torah and living according to the law, statutes, and commandments. Now, what I've noticed is this phenomenon, and it's mind-boggling to me. I think it's just pure insanity. I think it's just pure insanity. So right to the point is this. This is what I've noticed. Over the last 2 years, I've spoken with many sisters. And when I say sisters, I don't necessarily mean bloodline Hebrews. Many women. Over 90% of these women claiming to live according to Torah, all claiming to love and embrace the Hebrew culture. I've spoken to women in the Philippines, here in the United States, some other places across the world. And what I find just it blows my mind. I think it's pure insanity. This is what I found through observation. The women that support polygyny and the women who oppose polygyny, it's totally mind-boggling. And here's the insanity, all right? What I've noticed is that over 90% of the women whom I've either personally spoken to or seen, whether it be in various fellowships or that I've come across in various social media platforms, what I found is this. Over 90% of the women who oppose polygyny are single mothers. This to me is mind-boggling. The women who are they claim that they live according to Torah, and they claim that they embrace the Hebrew culture. Single mothers oppose. Many have even called it disgusting. The institution and the form of marriage and the family structure of polygyny. Now, one sister that I spoke to, and here's the thing: is some of the time, like I have to give respect to sisters who have been honest about certain things in conversations, and I would never reveal a sister's name or something like that, or who this sister is. But I still think it's insanity. Example. I was speaking to one sister. She has 5 children. 5 daughters, all by one man. But the sister has had sexual relationships with over 30 men that she admitted to. Now, what that means is this. When she would have a so-called new boyfriend, and he thinking that she's committed to him, and he breaking bread, taking her on dates, breaking bread, doing stuff for her daughters, all the while, the baby daddy has access to come get in her sugar walls, no condom, whenever he want to. The dude that's supposed to be the boyfriend, he wearing condoms and all that, and it's probably, you know what, to his benefit, because hey, it don't work out, you ain't got no kids with her. But just the insanity. And so she kept on getting pregnant by this one man, had 5 children, has been with over 30 men, but will turn around and say, ugh, polygyny is just disgusting, and she hates it, and she would never, ever, ever do polygyny, and any man that wants to be with her gotta be with her and only her, and this man gotta love her children as if they her own children. Do you hear the insanity of that? Another sister, and I'm not gonna throw this sister's name out there, but I just think it's total insanity. Supposed to be an Israelite woman following Torah. This sister got 7 kids by 5 different baby daddies. Her claim was that she believes she's doing her part, being fruitful and multiplying. You hear the insanity of that? All the while this woman says, hell no to polygyny. Polygyny is disgusting. I would never be a wife to a man that has multiple wives. But you got 7 kids by 5 baby daddies? The insanity. I've seen sisters with 1 kid, 2 kids, many of them, all talking about, hell no, I ain't never doing no polygyny. I ain't doing no polygyny. Hell no, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. All of this madness. And expect a man living in truth, a righteous man living according to Torah. They expect this man to be with them under the bounds and restrictions of monogamy and provide for their children. Some of these women that I've spoken to, because they've been promiscuous, playing the harlot, being with multiple men, some of these women can't even produce children anymore. They didn't have various health issues with their reproductive system. Some have had to have hysterectomies, can't have no more kids, but then expect a man to get with them in monogamy, and they better love their kids like they his kids. Do you hear the insanity of these westernized women? Insane. While what I find on the contrary, and it's just mind-boggling to me, what I find on the contrary is you can find sisters with no children who at a much, much higher rate embrace and desire the family structure of polygyny. I don't understand how it is, if anything, and what I find that typically happens is the sisters with no kids typically have a much shorter sexual history. So example, you might find a sister who's single, no children, and she's only had 4 sexual partners in her whole life. And this sister come to the truth. Maybe it's been in the truth for a year or 2 or something like that. Been celibate for a period of time. And this sister embraces polygyny and loves the concept and idea of having a sister wife and having a husband that is living righteously and to bring forth children to this man. I've seen this in multiple cases over the last 2 years, me discussing polygyny with many women with different backgrounds. And what I find is like over 90% of the time, the single mother who's had who has a track record, okay? The single mother who has a track record over 90% of the time is the one to disrespect, disregard, and to basically blaspheme the institution of polygyny. While the sisters who, if they really was gonna say, no, I just want to be with one man, or I want to be, a man that only had one wife and monogamy, the sister that really would kind of have some sort of desire for that, they're the ones who have humbled themselves more often. Now we see things in the scripture that talks about this. When you see women that have, gone from house to house or man to man, and they got kids, they got this different stuff. What the scripture let us know is that most of the time those women have waxed wanton against Christ. Their heart is actually wicked. They can sit up there and call themselves whatever Israelite name they want. They can claim to be keeping the Torah, but they have not humbled themselves. They are haughty. And most of them on the low are having sex with somebody. Most of them are having sex with somebody on the low. And those would be the ones sitting there talking about, I ain't doing no polygyny. But the sisters who don't even have children, who can come into a family and really build with that man, those are the sisters that tend to be more humble and to embrace and love polygyny. I think that's just insane to me. And when we understand precept upon precept, and we understand the scriptures, the women who should be all out for polygyny, that should just be begging for a husband to take them under polygyny, are the single mothers. They're the ones who have played the harlot. They're the ones who've lived in pleasure. They're the ones who bringing in bastard children, and the baby daddy running around somewhere, not doing his job as a man, or, and this is what I found, and U.S. statistics with family court proves this, over 90% of these women, they ran the man off, and that's why the man ain't around. They got the man on child support and stuff like that, and most of the time, a lot of these men really do want their children. But these will be the women that'll have something wicked and evil and negative to say when it comes to polygyny. And I just find that, I think it's just insane. But you had the other women who actually have something to bring to the table. They can come in with little to no baggage, no children, ready to come in, join a family, and build in righteousness. It really makes me, think about Isaiah chapter 3. The daughters of Zion are haughty.